Hi everyone, it is Fitz with your daily delivery. Hope you're doing well. I am very good. I am. I'm not lying. It's the weekend. Football season is inching closer and closer. I'll be on a plane to Dublin before you know it. Ah, boy. So it's time to talk a little K-State basketball. Huh? That's right. K-State released its non-conference portion of its schedule earlier this week. I noticed that the women just dropped on Friday as I sat down to record this, and that's of interest too. But we're going to talk about the men today. I see some pretty decent games, home games, and then, an overall theme here. And also, it stirred up a great childhood memory. And I wish I remembered how old I was when this took place, but I don't remember things like that. So we're going to get into that. That's a fun story. And of course, I need you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the thumbs up, leave those comments. It all helps us. And we're sponsored by coldest.com. Go ahead and make your tailgate elevate with a coldest product like this. Here's the great thing. It's cold, or it could be hot, and nobody needs to know what's inside of it. I know what you're up to, guys. Coldest.com, Life of Fitz, get you 10% off. Onward we go. It's an interesting schedule. I don't mind it that much. You got Cal, Tulsa, Seton Hall coming in the non-conference, which is okay. And they play their mid-season tournament in Kansas City this year. So that'll be fun for fans. They get that on the agenda and some decent teams there, including Nebraska. So, there's some games that you can hang your hat on here. Overall, this is a really manageable schedule for Kansas State. And one of the things I like about it is not having a game in the tropics, a tournament game in the tropics, and thus Ryan Gilbert will have to go to Kansas City and not a tropical island. I know, it's tough on him. But overall, it's a really manageable schedule. It's a schedule that should help this team get off to a good start while still giving them a little feel for what the Big 12 will be like. I don't think any of us think Cal, Tulsa, or Seton Hall are going to be world beaters. Honestly, I don't know at this point, but those are manageable games. But after they finish up with that tournament in Kansas City in November, they're going to go to Indiana and renew a rivalry. Yeah, it was a rivalry at one point between the two schools, back when basketball was king at Kansas State. Now, I can't remember what year it was. I was old enough to know and young enough not to be in college. I'm guessing it might have been 1980 when Indiana and Bob Knight came to Ahern Fieldhouse. If you're a well-seasoned fan like I am, make sure you drop in the comments what game I'm thinking of, because this one was the moment when I realized, yeah, this place is special, because the Ahern Fieldhouse was unlike any other place that I've ever covered a game. It was that loud, and I miss it, to be real honest. We made a mistake. Can't undo the mistake, but we did by moving out of there. I remember this game because back in those days, not every game was televised. So timeouts, which aren't as regular, they were usually just called by the coach. Well, those weren't as long. TV timeouts, called timeouts, everything seemed to move faster then. Didn't have as much advertising, didn't have as much TV, and honestly, it's best for the game that they have that financial support now. But during those timeouts in Ahern Fieldhouse, it wouldn't get quiet. Nobody sat down. If Bob Knight called a timeout, the fans got up and got after it. And my memory of this game was it being so loud during the timeout, you could not converse in the stands, at least up in the area of the student section where my sister got me a ticket. And it was just deafening. So much so that on the sideline, Bob Knight could not communicate with his own players. They couldn't hear him in a huddle. He picked up his clipboard and just slammed it to the ground and complained after the game about how loud the arena was. Complained or complimented. Same thing with Bob Knight. K-State's always had a great home environment. And the reason wasn't the building. Ahern helped a lot. The acoustics were awful. But it's that student body. You guys come and just make the place rowdy wherever you are. So it's Bramlage Coliseum from here on out, as far as we know. Another decent non-con for K-State basketball as Jerome Tang gives his team a fighting chance to prove itself in the non-conference, something it hasn't done the last 2 years, and then a few little tests along the way to make sure they're ready for Big 12 play. I'm not ready for Big 12 play in Kansas State basketball. I'm ready for Kansas State football. We'll get back to that next week. And tomorrow, I announce my guest on Life of Fitz. You'll know him if you watch a lot of TV. I'll just be sitting here drinking my coldest. Oh, the top's on. That was bad.